Greetings everyone. Today, we dive into the fascinating journey of how the USA became a world leader. Our story begins around 15,000 years before Christ, when the first people arrived in the Americas. These early settlers, known as Paleo-Indians, hunted megafauna and later developed farming practices. Fast forward to the late 15th century, when the European colonization of this new world began. It was a period of exploration and discovery, as settlers from across the ocean sought to establish a new life on unfamiliar soil. By the 17th century, 13 British colonies were firmly established, housing 2.5 million people by the 1760s. These colonies formed the foundation of what would later become the United States of America, a nation born out of resistance to British taxes and a desire for independence. But this is just the dawn of America. There's a lot more to this enthralling tale of growth, struggle, and triumph. Before we delve deeper, don't forget to subscribe and share our channel to keep these enlightening stories coming. With a population of 2.5 million in the 1760s, the 13 colonies were ripe for change. The seeds of this transformation were sown in the fertile soil of discontent. The British colonies, though far from the motherland, were not exempt from its taxes. This imposition was met with resistance, a spark that ignited the flame of rebellion. The year 1775 marked the beginning of this armed conflict. The colonies, under the banner of unity and liberty, took up arms against their British oppressors. This was not a mere skirmish, but a fight for the very soul of a nascent nation. It was a fight for freedom, for the right to govern themselves, and for the principles of democracy. In the thick of battle, a figure emerged, a beacon of hope and resilience: General George Washington. His leadership was instrumental in navigating the turbulent waters of war. With strategic prowess and unwavering resolve, he led his troops against the might of the British Empire. The pivotal year of 1776 saw the colonies take a decisive step. They declared their independence, breaking free from the shackles of British rule. This bold declaration was more than just a political statement. It was an affirmation of their identity as a united and free nation. The United States of America was born. The Revolutionary War raged on, a testament to the determination and courage of a people fighting for their right to self-determination. The tide of battle turned, and victory was claimed under the leadership of General Washington. This victory, however, was not the end, but the beginning. In 1789, the Constitution was adopted, establishing a strong central government. This was a critical milestone in the nation's journey, a foundation upon which the United States could build its future. By adopting the Constitution in 1789, the USA established a strong central government, setting the stage for its rise to power. The United States was not content to rest on its laurels. After gaining independence, the nation's gaze turned westward, fueled by the concept of manifest destiny. This belief held that the country was destined to stretch from coast to coast, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This westward expansion, however, was not without its share of difficulties and controversies. The most contentious of these was the issue of slavery. As new territories were added to the Union, debates raged about whether they should be admitted as free states or slave states. This issue cut to the heart of the country's identity, pitting the industrialized North against the agrarian, slave-holding South. The struggle to reconcile these differing visions of America ultimately led to the Civil War in 1861. It was a bloody, brutal conflict, the deadliest in the nation's history. Brother fought against brother, state against state, in a desperate battle over the soul of the country. The war ended in 1865 with the defeat of the Confederates, but the end of the war did not mean the end of conflict. The country had to grapple with the question of how to integrate millions of freed slaves into society. This led to the Reconstruction era, a tumultuous time of change and reform. During this period, freed slaves were granted legal and voting rights, a monumental shift in the nation's social fabric. Despite the challenges and setbacks, these changes marked a significant step towards equality and justice. And so, as the dust of the Civil War settled, the United States began to rebuild. It was a nation changed, scarred by war, but also looking towards a future of expansion and opportunity. The Reconstruction era brought legal and voting rights to freed slaves, marking a new chapter in the nation's history. The 20th century was a period of dramatic transformation for the USA. The nation was buzzing with the hum of machinery and the clatter of industry as the USA rose to become a prominent industrial power. This was a time when steel and steam were king, and the USA was its court. Factories sprung up across the land, churning out goods that were shipped around the world, showcasing American innovation. But it wasn't just industry that was growing. As the world plunged into the chaos of World War I, the United States made the critical decision to join the fray. It was a move that would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the USA, but for the entire globe. The country's involvement in the war marked its arrival on the world stage, not just as an emerging power, but as a force to be reckoned with. Yet the trials for the USA were far from over. A few short decades later, the world was once again gripped by conflict, this time on an even larger scale. World War II had arrived and the USA once again answered the call. The nation's industrial might was harnessed for the war effort, producing a staggering amount of weaponry and equipment that would play a crucial role in the eventual Allied victory. When the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the USA emerged from the wreckage of the world wars not just unscathed but stronger. Its economy was booming, its military was unmatched, and its influence was felt in every corner of the globe. The USA's involvement in global conflicts had cemented its position as a world leader. Since its rise as a superpower, the USA has continued to shape global politics and culture. The Cold War era, marked by an intense rivalry with the Soviet Union, saw the nation flexing its diplomatic and military muscles on the global stage. The game of chess between these two colossal powers influenced the world's political landscape for decades. The 1960s, a period of profound social and cultural shifts, brought about landmark reforms in civil rights, women's rights, and environmental protection. These changes not only transformed the fabric of American society, but also sent ripples across the globe, inspiring movements and shaping ideologies. The 1980s were punctuated by the presidency of Ronald Reagan. His policies, often referred to as Reaganomics, sought to stimulate the economy through tax cuts and deregulation. This era also saw a shift in politics, with a renewed emphasis on free market capitalism. But the journey of the USA hasn't been without its challenges. The 21st century brought with it the Great Recession, testing the resilience of the nation's economy. And most recently, the world has grappled with the COVID-19 pandemic, a crisis that has demanded unprecedented responses and adaptations. Through each era, the USA has proven its ability to not just withstand, but to evolve and innovate. From its humble beginnings to its position on the world stage, the USA's journey is a testament to the power of vision, resilience, and innovation. Thank you for joining us on this journey.